As the strike continues, talks between Stop and Shop and the United Food and Commercial Workers Union resumed this morning after the two groups failed to reach a deal over the weekend. The 30,000 employees first walked off the job on Thursday after contract talks hit a standstill and workers objected to the company's terms for a new agreement. And while workers first voted to strike in February after the previous contract expired, last Thursday's decision forced several stores to close temporarily until Stop and Shop was able to bring in corporate personnel and other replacement workers to take over for the employees picketing outside, who were joined by their families, customers, and even two Massachusetts U.S. senators.
Fight for all our families.
Their strike is a strike for pensions, for health care, for their wages. They have to be protected.
At issue for workers in the Stop and Shop proposals, a reduction in pension benefits for new hires, a $2 to $4 increase in what workers would have to pay for their health care premiums every week, and wage increases. Union reps say they've been offered just 50 cents an hour more, less than 2% raise, but even less, they argue, when new health costs are taken into account. Three Stop and Shop workers and members of the union join me now. Jose Lopes, Paul Batista, and Jim Griffin. Thank you all for being here.
Sure.
I appreciate it. And by the way, we invited representatives of Stop and Shop management to join us. They declined, saying there were ongoing negotiations. Could we just get online quickly so people get a sense? How long you worked in the place?
37 years.
37 years?
Since I was 16
How old?
years old.
16? How about you?
41.
How old were you?
17.
And you?
34, but before that I worked for another supermarket chains.
So wait a second.
I'm 54.
So you've been in supermarkets your whole life?
Pretty much, yeah.
And you two as
Yes,
well?
sir. As well,
Have you
yeah.
felt, take away the last month or two, have you felt about this employer for much of your decades there, starting with you, Jose?
I'll tell you what, it was the best employee to work for. And you had to know someone in order to get hired.
Why was it the best employer to work for?
Well, because they took care of their employees. They took care of them, the Rabs, which are the founders, they took care of their
Did that ever change in your estimation?
Yeah.
When?
Now?
Why?
Well,
When?
corporate greed. Simple, plain and simple, corporate greed.
Well, 3 years ago we voted to strike, and we've given out flyers. 6 years ago we voted to strike, and now this time around we're on strike. So it's gotten progressively worse. I mean, they're just looking for more and more takebacks now, and it's just going to, I mean, we're not going to go back to work unless we're not asking for anything extra. We just want what we have right now.
Do you feel as positively about this workplace for all those years as Jose did?
I used to years ago, in the last 10 years now.
Last 10 years.
Right.
And how about you?
I feel the same.
You
Absolutely.
all felt really good about this employer.
Absolutely.
Until,
I mean,
We wouldn't have put our lives work into it if we didn't do that. We didn't think so.
one of the things that I'm not sure people out in the world understand is one of the major reasons you're striking is not about you. It's about future workers at this place who you don't want to have a separate kind of pension. Try to explain to the people at home, why do you care about people who don't even exist yet? Well, they exist, but they don't exist at Stop and Shop. Why does that matter to you?
Well, look, the minimum wage is going up, 15, right? And it's going to take a few years to get there.
Yeah.
Well, the Stop and Shop wants to cap your pay at 18. You'll never make more than 18 because they're going to give you a bonus instead or give you whatever they want.
But if you're taken care of adequately, what do you care about what the future
Somebody
worker
took care of
makes?
you. Somebody
So it's just
fought for me.
solidarity with that future worker?
Eventually there's going to be no union there. I mean, that's all they're trying to do is weaken the union, get everyone to say, I don't care, and cut the benefits, and no one's going to want to work
So
there.
you think if that new, you were nodding in agreement, you think if that new worker has lesser benefits, there'll be less support for the union.
Definitely.
And then ultimately it ends up hurting you guys,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You know, I hadn't seen that robot. I was going to say walking, rolling down.
Marty is.
Marty, thank you. I can't believe you refer to it by
Right.
its actual name.
I didn't give it to him. Stop and Shop.
And that little jitney thing that rides. Let's assume, Paul, starting with you, let's assume your union is totally successful in this negotiation. Everything you're looking for is won before you decide to go back to work. Are you not worried that that future is marching in on you?
Absolutely.
Regardless. So how do you deal with technology?
It's, you know, it like the video before showed, it's all about the technology, the future, robots. But there are companies today, supermarket chains, that they're all about customer service, and they are very successful.
And you think the customer service depends on humans in that?
Absolutely.
I mean, 10 years ago, there was no
Absolutely.
such thing as a self-service checkout. people scanning their own orders. It's just eliminating jobs. That high school kid that was a cashier at Bagger, they don't exist anymore.
But are you worried, Jim, that you're fighting off the inevitable? That even if you're right on the merits, that robot works for a lot less than you do.
Right.
And ultimately, that maybe Stop and Shop, I don't want to speak for them, will say they'll get used to the robot because we're going to be able to keep prices down. I assume that's what they'd argue if they were sitting
But this whole issue is not about
absolutely.
price. It's not. Stop and Shop is not lowering the cost of food because of labor's going down. They're not doing that. They're getting more out of it.
Their profit margins stay the same. Their profit margins aren't going down because it's a robot.
And not only that, is Stop and Shop is not listening to the customer, is teaching the customer how to shop.
By the way, they made $2 billion in profit last year. That's not a disputed figure.
2.2, I think it was. Right.
Are the customers with you, do you think?
I'd say about,
I assume if you've been decades in your store, you know most of the people walking the door.
I'd say about 80% of us, 80% of the customers are behind us.
Do you both agree with that?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
think the vast
There's still people going through the picket
yeah.
line every day. I mean, it's mostly younger people, the millennials. They don't really care about unions.
Right.
I mean, they're the biggest culprit walking through the door shopping.
You know, I'm looking at the three of you, and you both look, I don't know you before 5 minutes ago, all three look pretty confident. But are you not worried about the future? I mean, two kinds of futures.
Right.
The future through the strike, the future. How worried are you about your own future? You spent your whole life working in supermarkets. You spent your whole lives working at Stop and Shop.
I
How
have 8
worried
more
are you?
years to work, and I don't know if I'll be working 8 more years to
So
retire.
what does that do to you?
It scares me. I mean, my insurance, my benefits. I mean, I want to retire. I mean, I want to retire at some point. I don't want to keep working the rest of my life.
Paul, you worried?
Absolutely.
What does that do to you as a human, as a person?
I feel a sort of a betrayal, really.
Absolutely,
It's like
right.
it's come on, we made what this company is today.
If they treat you fairly at the end of the day, if this thing is resolved and the union gets essentially what it's looking for, does that betrayal stay, or do you have an ability to go back and feel good about this place yet again?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, it's going to take some time. I mean,
So this has been poisoned
Right.
in some ways.
Yeah.
You get a bad taste in your mouth.
The Stop and Shop is poisoning the future because it shows they don't care about human beings in the future.
You know, I don't know how much you guys are making. You're not rich. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Far from it.
Can you stay out as long as the union and your fellow members say?
Oh, I'll
until
be
you
out there. I'm not, there's no way I'm going back in that
How about you?
I'll be there.
And you?
Absolutely.
I'll have to get 2 jobs to make what I make now, but I'll do it.
And you think the vast majority of your 30,000 colleagues, fellow union members, feel the
definitely.
same way?
Yeah.
There's a lot of the feeling of betrayal is out there. I mean, everyone's we can't believe it. I mean, we're not asking for much. Just give us what we had originally. They're just taking things away from us.
Well, I wish all
gonna
three of you luck, and I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Jim, thank you
Yep,
so much.
you're welcome.
Paul, Jose,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
stay strong,
Appreciate
you
it.
guys.